So we're going to look at the platform updates for November 2024. The platform updates for November 2024 are a little bit small, and that's because we have some very significant events going on. One of the things we do when we have customers that are running large events, and they're very sort of critical to those organizations, we do implement a code freeze. So one of the things just to be conscious of is at this precise moment, we're not doing updates. So it's impacting our ability to roll updates out during November because we are freezing the code. So just that's why this list is a little bit shorter than maybe what it sometimes is. So as always, we'll just have a little walk through where we've actually got new features coming out or are out in the product during November. So we are going to be releasing a new API endpoint actually for the TMS. So our API connectivity is part of our what we call Skillable Connect product. And there's actually going to be a new API endpoint called Create Class Vouchers. So this was actually added to allow vouchers to be created for classes. So this is actually to do with our new marketplace platform, where people can actually advertise and sell their training wares, and then give people access to the TMS to run the courses either as self-paced or as part of a class. So this was actually really designed to automate that process. So this was a request from a customer to enable them to really get whole instructor-led class automation running correctly. So for most people, this is not something that they're too worried about, but it is a new endpoint. So if you are delivering classes, you're using Marketplace, this could become very important to you. Insights. I'm just putting this slide up from time to time, even if the Insights haven't got any new features. And that's because, we're finding more and more, we're having conversations with customers that say, oh, I'd love a report that did this. I would love this data. Okay. And as a lot of you will be aware, Insights is a component of the Skillable platform. A lot of you will be using Insights. And we do create custom reports for customers. If you need data, you need a report and you can't get it out of the system, talk to us and we will build you a report. No problems at all. We don't charge for this service. It's something we will do for our customers. So please, contact your account executive, contact your customer success manager if you have a request in this space. So actually, there's new reports being released all the time. A lot of these are very much customer specific. So we tailor reports for those customers, hence the reason I don't list them in here. But I would say we've actually released at least 5 new reports during November. Okay. So we're doing that all the time. Next thing, a lot of you will be aware that we did a lot of work on the template gallery, and we're still working on the template gallery, but just want to highlight, we have released Windows Server 2025 templates. There is actually a template for Hyper-V, and there is a template for ESX. So those have actually been released on part of the platform. Okay, so if I was just to go into Lab on Demand, and actually just go to hit a new lab profile. If I was just to view the public template gallery, and let me just put in 2025 in the search box, be the easiest way to do it. Okay, you'll see that we have a base environment for Hyper-V running Windows Server 2025 and a base environment running ESX for 2025. Okay, so they're there, all ready to go, and we actually got those out quite soon after Windows Server 2025 went to release. I think it was about 2 days it took us to sort of actually get them up. There's nothing else in them. They are just base operating systems, but they're of course been fully optimized for running on our platform. So that's just the operating system itself. Okay. So they've been pushed out. Other things that have happened. We don't have a Red Hat 9.5. Ultimately, we can look at Red Hat. I actually run the template gallery. So let me have a look at potentially, because ultimately we are trying to find out from customers what to put in now. We do have some Linux. Obviously, we have some Ubuntu and things. There's no reason we couldn't put Red Hat in there as well. Thank you, Andrew. Okay. The visual instruction editor, okay, has gone general availability, so it's available for all customers now. Okay. The product is not finished. I don't want you to sort of take that misunderstanding saying that we've finished it. We've got quite a lot of things that we want to do with the product, and actually some of the things I'm going to mention are going to be revolving around the visual instruction editor. However, as part of releasing it, we did actually make some additional last-minute changes to the instruction editor. So if I was just to go and find a lab, it doesn't really matter which lab I pick on. Okay, let me just make sure I find something in production. That'll do. Okay, if I was just to, actually that's more likely not the best one. We'll see how we go. Oh, this will do, yeah. So if I come into here, a couple of things that we released as part of the general availability is we added a new upload media. So this is the same sort of UI that we had before, okay, so that you can easily drag and drop videos, audio, images, and get them put into your instructions. So we've made that easy. You don't have to go back to the old editor to do that. And we also added tooltips for the menu down the left-hand side here. One of the things we discovered was basically a lot of people were clicking on these and going sort of, oh, which one is it that I want? And they're going up and down, you know. So obviously, as part of that, obviously we've added tooltips. So hopefully that's sort of going to solve some of that random clicking that I would like to say that our customers went through, but actually I think in all honesty, we all went through that phase a little bit. So just a couple of little bits there as part of the GA release. And as I say, we have not finished, okay? But we are sort of going, you know, we've got that minimum viable product, hence the reason it's gone general availability. We're also, this will actually technically be next month, going to be releasing the proof of concept for our screenshot activity technology. Okay, so this is the technology that we've mentioned a couple of times on here, and I often refer to it as no-code automated activities. Okay, so it's effectively allowing you to use artificial intelligence to tell you about what's on the screen. So you can effectively ask AI, you know, I want to see this on the user screen. Is it true or not? And if it is, you'll get the activity correct. So this is something, you know, we're quite proud of. We think there's going to be a lot of value in this. It's going to make automated activities really easy for a lot of people that haven't got scripting skills. It's also going to enable automated activity for a lot of those environments where you can't actually run a script to find out the answer and so on. So, you know, I think this is going to be incredibly valuable. We are just in a situation where we need an update in production. So this doesn't work within our production environment at the moment. So hence the reason it's just going to be wait until next month before we can actually start to ask customers to have a play and have a test with it. But I can show it to you in our development environments. So one of the things, as always with development environments, there's no telling what's going on in the background here. So this has got the opportunity to break at any possible moment. Okay. So this is effectively a lab. I've actually got the lab running, hopefully, just to save actually powering it up. If I can actually find the screen, there we go. Which has actually got a really badly written lab. It's just a test lab, so don't worry about too much about the text in here. But the long and short of it is this is looking for a folder called lab files on the desktop. Okay, that's what that first button's looking for. So if I press the score button here, okay, you'll see that it comes back and it tells me basically it can't find the folder. So if I literally was just to go in here, right click and do new folder and type in lab files, oops, spell it correctly, lab files, okay, and then hit the score again, okay, you'll actually see, hopefully, that it comes back and gives me a green tick to say, yes, that's correct. Okay. Now, we could have done that with a bit of PowerShell in this case, or if it was a Linux box with a graphical user interface, we could have easily done that with a bit of Bash. Okay. However, there is no code behind this. Okay. So if I just go into the instructions, okay, and hopefully come down to the activities, let's look at the add lab files folder. So if I look at this activity, it is literally a form somebody's filled in. Okay, So it's got a name, it's got a replacement token, obviously, which is what goes in the instructions. Okay, and then literally all it's got here is basically, AI prompt, lab files folder on the desktop. Okay, so it's not even a particularly well worded question, if we're completely honest about it. So whoever wrote this, and he will remain nameless, Corey Gibson, was very lazy in his AI prompt. What he did do, though, in this case, was he did add a screenshot, which is actually representative of what he wanted to see. So obviously the AI is using that as part of its decision-based processing. To actually give an example of that, okay, how the screenshot either helps or doesn't help, okay, because you don't need to put screenshots in if you don't want to. Let me, for example, delete that, okay, and I was to actually go and, let's say, open a prompt, okay, and rather than actually create the icon on the desktop and show the desktop, let me come into here and just go into the desktop folder and just do, okay, dir add files. So effectively, I've achieved the same result. Oops, sorry. Okay, I've created a folder called lab files on the desktop. Okay, so in this instance, if I press score, okay, you'll actually see in this instance, I've now got this wrong. Okay, because actually the test wanted to visually see the desktop. Okay, so one of the things we've got here is by the way we use those pictures, we're actually training the AI in what we expect to see. Now, of course, what I could have done is I could have absolutely have put a copy of this screenshot in there as well, so it would understand that either a picture of the desktop with the lab files folder or a command prompt with it in the correct place are both correct. So we could train it in a way that both are right. It really depends on what your objectives are. So this is what no code screenshot activities are all about. And we're hoping to say POC, beta next month, and then hopefully early release next year, once we make sure this scales the way we hoping it will do. Okay, we've got a couple of UI changes to make, so you will see like that form change a little bit. I was actually talking to the product manager for this. There's a couple of things in this form that I'm not happy about. We've got a particular order, the way our forms work, and this is laid out wrong compared to our other forms. So I think we need to standardize the format. There are also a couple of other restrictions. It's VM only today. We are hoping to make it available for integrated browser as well, but initially it will be VM only. Okay, and it's only on-demand evaluation as well. Okay, so effectively, this is something that's not ticked. If I go and create a new one, so if I go and say new screenshot activity, you'll see the on-demand evaluation is not ticked. Not only does that need to be ticked, you shouldn't be able to untick it. So effectively, that's going to become a grayed option, but set. Okay. Of course, you can have scored or unscored. They don't have to be scored if you don't want to, and you can, of course, do custom feedback. The other thing, when we actually release this, so this will be down the road when it becomes a release product, we will actually capture the screenshot that we take from the user's machine that we send to the AI, and we will store that in the lab activities. So ultimately, those details will be available. So when you basically a user's got something wrong, and they say, "Well, I did get it right," you will actually see the screenshot that we took at the time when they pressed the activity button as well. So that will be available for you. So that's the screenshot activity tool, and hopefully that will be available hopefully next month in a beta, but then actually available in production early next year. Okay, we was hoping to have it in beta by now, but it actually turns out there's actually an update we have to do for our Hyper-V hosts. Okay, and we need to get that rolled out first. It does work on ESX today, no problems at all. It's just an update for Hyper-V, and we don't want to sort of make it available for people until it's available on both host types. Okay. And of course, because of the code freeze, we can't get the update out. So hopefully you might find that really, really valuable. Okay.